What is up, guys? It's Adrian here from Sapienta Automation, and here today I just wanted to tell you guys that I finally had completed the bot, and at the moment I am talking to my barber and really just making sure with him that he's liking it and he's enjoying it, and he did test it out and he really loved it. We're going to be having a conversation about having this bot on his main page this following and upcoming week, which I'm pretty excited for. Excited for what's to come. And this morning I actually watched a video, this one right here, and I just took a lot of notes on prompt engineering. I basically just watched a little tutorial as to kind of explaining and understanding more about how to prompt in a GPT or an AI to help the building of what I'm trying to do here. So as you guys see, I took a couple notes as to what I might be explaining in the next couple of minutes, but this is kind of the basis of the YouTube video. I mean, one thing that I'd recommend that I did before even talking about this on video is I actually put it on ChatGPT and I said summarize this transcript, and that's where I actually there's a YouTube transcript button in which I would recommend this for anybody. If you're trying to summarize something or watch something first and then get a summarized version of it, I'd recommend using this YouTube transcript. Goes really quick and it really helps with, if you're having trouble or difficulties understanding a portion, or you're just trying to summarize the YouTube video that you're watching. So prompt engineering is the involvement of human writing, refining, and optimizing prompts in a very structured way to get the answers that you want from an AI. Because AI can only give out answers to the questions that it asks. It's kind of like that idea of the iceberg, as in it's the tip of the iceberg. When you're asking questions in the beginning, when you're asking GPT any type of questions, it's usually very basic questions. Or even when you Google search something, it's very basic Google search things. But as soon as you kind of get the habit as to Google searching something that you really want and you're very specific about it, that's when Google will give you what you want. And that's exactly how we go about prompt engineering. That's exactly how we go about giving prompts to these AIs to further advance the answers that the GPT or the AI will give you. And to be honest, AI cannot think for itself, not just yet. So the biggest thing that we need to do as prompt engineers, as automation experts, is to really make sure that the AI understands what we need from it, because it will not go and get the answers that we need if we don't give it the good questions or the good prompts that it needs to get the good answers. In this video that I watched, it really gave me a whole background as to how long it's been since GPTs have been becoming a thing. Even AI in general. I believe, I didn't really write it down, but AI's been kind of adapting the last 60 years. I think the first one was an application called Ezilia or something like that. Alyssa, that's what it was. So it kind of explained the premise on what the first AI was, which was Alyssa, and what it did was it just basically asked you questions because of asking you questions from the prompts that you're giving it. So say for instance I say I'm sad, it would ask why are you sad, and then at some point it's kind of its own, you're kind of having a little therapy session with Alyssa. And as we see, this was created in 1966. So this was one of the first projects that was ever made that began the push for AI. And because of that is how everything, just started. And moving forward, that's when GPT started. I mean, it's more like 40, 50 years later, GPT started to become a thing. The first GPT was in 2017, and GPT-2, GPT-3, and now GPT-4 is out for everyone to use, which is where we are now. We're using Google search, and we're even making tailored GPTs for the common user, or even for businesses that actually do need it. So that's why, the biggest thing that I think about is prompt engineering will continue to become something that is huge in the market that we will grow into. And it's at the moment in time, it's to 2023, and we'll see how it goes for next year. But I think this project is just going to continue to get bigger, and that's what I'm excited for. The big mindset that it did talk about was to write one prompt and not waste time on writing any newer prompts to get a better solution, because we need quick solutions to not use tokens. And what tokens are is basically the price of using GPT. There's further access to OpenAI, and there's more like, this is kind of like the technical portion of it, in which you would be using your own money to get answers from the tailored GPT that you want. And that's where OpenAI's API kind of comes into play. But when you're using GPT-4, you don't really even think about it. You don't even see it. As time progresses, I know I will start to use OpenAI's API to further advance my skills as a automation expert. Practices that they gave me were very informative, I'm not gonna lie. It was one of the biggest things that I took away from this whole video. And the biggest thing is give it clear instructions. Rather than saying, what is the election as a question, you also have to add in the presidential election, because what's the GPT to know that you're talking about the American election, the United States election? And also, if it's local government, what happens if it's state? It might not just be the presidential election. So that's where, the idea of when is the election now becomes when is the next presidential election for a specific country. Really getting into the details on the clear instructions to better improve the answers that you get from your GPT. The next thing it told me about was adopting a persona. And this is to really make sure that the answers are given in a consistent voice and a consistent tone, because at the end of the day, the tone is the most important thing for the target audience that you're looking for, right? So one of the big examples was, the idea of write a poem for a sister's high school graduation that we read out to a family and close friends, versus write a poem as Helena. Helena is a 25-year-old and an amazing writer. Her writing style is similar to a famous 21st century poet, Rupi Kaur. Writing as Helena, write a poem for her 18-year-old sister to celebrate her sister's high school graduation. This will be read out to friends and family at the gathering. Something like this is essential when creating a good prompt for your GPT to answer questions, to give better answers, more like. Because we want the best answer. We don't want just a simple answer that they just spits out from the top of its head. We want the really under the iceberg answers. The other three things that it mentioned was really specifying the format. Do you want it in bullet points? Do you want a checklist? What are you looking for in these answers? Do you want it in a friendly manner? There's all these different ideas that are really essential when you're making a prompt for GPT. The thing that it mentioned was zero-shot prompting and few-shot prompting, because these two things are very essential when creating those very specific solutions that companies will need at some point in time. Because as we see, zero-shot prompting allows the model to generalize with labeled data. And what that is basically when you give it a question, it will use its database from wherever it finds whatever answer to give you a good answer. Big difference between zero-shot prompting and few-shot prompting is that few-shot actually leverages several examples to adapt quickly to what the answer should be, which is basically let's just say for my barber, I will have a list of frequently asked questions that he gets, and I will get the answers from him specifically, so that I will give it to the AI that will rehearse and remember all the answers to these questions, which at that point the AI will answer correctly. It won't just give in a zero-shot prompting. It won't give a zero-shot answer, because one of the big examples that I think about is if I ask a GPT, how long is my haircut gonna be? It will possibly answer 30 to 45 minutes, but my barber actually takes the hour-long appointment. So there's all these different use cases for when you need the zero-shot prompting and when you need the few-shot prompting. Things I talked about was about AI hallucination, in which the large language model sometimes generates false information, which is very not good when it comes to giving businesses all these different AI chatbots or solutions, because we need solutions that give 100% of the answers that it needs, that the business needs. And the last thing it talked about was about vectors and text embeddings. So this is something I still want to really look into, because if I'm able to use these text embeddings to better enhance the algorithms that my AI uses, so that it can grab and receive the information much quicker and even answer in a much better way, that will be essential for businesses whenever they ask me to have that knowledge base, right? So that's something I still will be looking into further on this website, on OpenAI's assistant website, in which it basically explains everything I need to know about text embeddings. But one of the big things that it did talk about, that the video did talk about, was in computer science, particularly in a realm of machine learning and natural language processing, text embeddings is a popular technique to represent textual information in a format that can easily be processed by algorithms, especially deep learning models. That is essential, like I mentioned before, for any business that will be interested in AI, because if we can have the algorithms catch the data that we give it much quicker, it can respond better and even faster. Seen in the last couple minutes that I really just wanted to explain to you guys what I learned today for my Sapienta automation, in which now I'm able to better enhance my prompts to help my AIs give better answers, because we know that for businesses, they want the answers given correctly to their clients, right? So I'm just gonna leave it there, guys, for today. I know it's a long video. It might be a little hard to understand, but I'm hoping to give you guys a better view on prompt engineering in the next couple of videos. If you guys have any questions, make sure to comment down below, like, comment, and share some more. Give some love on this video, as I'm kind of giving you guys the day-to-day and what I'm doing to better enhance my knowledge base and advice to the businesses that I will be talking to about AI. But besides that, guys, you guys have a good one. Peace. Take care.